Wastewater management. Anything that is useless and we do not need it anymore is termed as waste. Just like any other matter, waste can also be liquid, solid, or gas. Liquid waste is also known by other names like sewage, dirty water, or wastewater. Water is one of the major resources behind life being possible on the earth. One cannot imagine life without water. However, it is we only who either overuse water or pollute it or waste it. Increasing scarcity of fresh water is due to industrial development, increasing population, mismanagement of water, and other factors. Realizing the urgency of the situation, the General Assembly of the United Nations proclaimed the period 2005 to 2015 as the International Decade for Action on Water for Life. All efforts made during this decade aim to reduce by half the number of people who do not have access to clean drinking water. Clearing of water is a process of removing pollutants before it enters a water body. The process of removing impurities from wastewater before it can be reused or sent to the water bodies is called sewage treatment and cleaning of water. Sources of wastewater. Wastewater comes from various sources like municipal wastewater, industrial wastewater, or rainwater. Domestic wastewater. It includes all kinds of waste like human excreta, food waste, animal excreta, urine, soap, detergent, and so on. Agricultural waste. The wastewater generated from farms and agricultural fields contain harmful pesticides, weedicides, and animal waste. Municipal wastewater. The wastewater from homes, offices, which is carried by sewers or sewage water pipes, is said to be municipal wastewater. This includes water from toilets, bathrooms, or kitchens. Black water is the term given to wastewater from toilets, while grey water is the term given to wastewater from bathrooms. Industrial wastewater. As the name suggests, it is the wastewater coming from industries. It is rich in chemicals and is often referred to as industrial effluent. Rainwater. The rainwater that runs away and gets logged as puddles or small pools of stagnant water is a waste. It is so because stagnant rainwater is nothing but a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Petroleum oil. The leakage of petroleum oil into the sea during drilling and shipping pollutes seawater. Oil spill is caused due to the release of oil into seas and oceans. There was considerable destruction of marine life during Gulf oil spill. Sewage. The water-containing waste is called sewage. Sewage includes garbage, human waste, and water that has been used for cleaning, washing, and bathing. Sewage contains dissolved and suspended impurities, which we call contaminants. Poor sanitation, inadequate sewage disposal, and contaminated drinking water are the main causes of a large number of human diseases in India. People consuming contaminated water may suffer from diseases like gastroenteritis, dysentery, typhoid, cholera, polio, meningitis, and hepatitis. Constituents of sewage. Wastewater generated from all mentioned ways contains dissolved and suspended impurities, which is a complex mixture containing organic and inorganic impurities, nutrients, saprotrophic and disease-causing bacteria and microbes. It contains organic impurities. It includes human excreta, animal waste, urine, oil, fruit and vegetable waste, pesticides and herbicides. Inorganic impurities. Inorganic impurities are in the form of phosphates, nitrates and heavy metals. Nutrients. Sewage includes nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Diseases causing microbes. Microbes like bacteria, which cause typhoid, cholera, and dysentery are present in the sewage. Wastewater treatment. The contaminated water is properly treated to reduce the degree of its harmful effects. This is done in wastewater treatment plant. There are large plants where wastewater is purified before being sent to the nearest water bodies or being reused. This sewage treatment involves physical, chemical, and biological processes to remove impurities from the water. Primary treatment. Sewage is carried to the sewage treatment plant through sewers. Here, large solids, leaves, rags and plastics are removed by strainers or screens. From here, it passes on to the settlement tank, where most of the suspended solid sink to the bottom. The solid that settles down is called primary sludge, which is used to produce compost and biogas. Large materials float on top and are called scum. The scum is removed by skimmer. The clarified water then moves to secondary treatment stage. Secondary treatment. The water then reaches the aeration tank, where organic matter is broken down by the action of bacteria. Air is blown into aeration tanks to speed up the process. At times, anaerobic bacteria are also used for the process. This is done in closed tanks. However, the main purpose of this tank is to settle the solids at the bottom. This is called activated water sludge or secondary sludge, which can also be used to produce compost or biogas after the top is removed. The activated sludge is mostly water waste. It is passed through sand beds to separate the solid material out of it. The solid waste can be used as manure. Tertiary treatment. Sometimes the water has to be treated more before they are passed into water bodies. Water may be passed through sand filters or man-made ponds with weeds and other organisms, like water hyacinth, which can clean out dissolved chemicals. The water is also disinfected with chemicals like chlorine, or may be exposed to ultraviolet rays to kill disease-causing organisms. The water is then discharged into the distribution system. The treated water, which is obtained from sewage treatment plant, is used for irrigating fields. It is also used for fisheries and growing crops and vegetables. This treated water is finally released into streams and rivers. Alternative methods for sewage disposal. Making a sewage system, as explained, is very expensive. Some examples of low-cost sewage disposal system are septic tank. Sewage is often processed, particularly in rural areas, with the help of septic tank. It consists of a cemented tank in which anaerobic bacteria decompose the waste. Composting pit. Human excreta is allowed to accumulate in composting pits. It is covered with soil, which after a period of time is used as manure. Vermicomposting toilet. A new method tested in India is to use red worms to treat human excreta and convert it into vermicompost. This method is simple, hygienic, and uses less water. Use of a biogas plant effectively, using feces of humans and animals, is one approach towards the treatment of waste. A traditional toilet of Ladakh is useful in water conservation as well as waste management. Better housekeeping practices to maintain sanitation. One of the simplest contributions that we can render towards waste management is to generate less waste. A few points that we should keep in our mind before releasing the waste into drain are: oil or any kind of fat should not be thrown into the drain, as it might solidify and choke the drain. It might block the pores between soil particles and thereby prevent aeration. Hence, oil and fats should be thrown into the dustbin. Any substance that can kill the microbes which purify water should not be thrown into the drain. Such substances could be paint, motor oil, or insecticide. all solid items should be thrown in the dustbin. Wastewater from basins, sinks, and washing machines can be used again for watering plants. Leakage in sewer lines should be checked and repaired regularly.